Here's more wrestling news for December 17th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include WWE 2K22 did a lot of work with Bronson Reed before his release, WWE remembers Brodie Lee on his birthday, major backstage issues between OMOS, AJ Styles, and WWE management, Adam Page says he has Spies in AEW graphics team, Viktor on what John Laurinaitis would always tell WWE extras, WWE wrestler is officially off crutches after surgery, you're so delusional and ignorant, Matt Cardona reacts to wrestler's claim about Vince McMahon, and more. We are starting today with WWE 2K22, which was delayed from the originally planned late 2021 release date because of the company's ever-changing roster. Bronson Reed is just one of the many names cut from WWE, as he was released in August this year, but only after he spent plenty of time working with the developers of 2K22. Speaking to Fightful Select, Reed said that he did all the face scans and came in for a separate scanning of all his tattoos and worked with the mocap team to make sure everything they did was right. Reed added that he'd love to be in the game, but it's ultimately WWE's decision whether they keep released wrestlers in, and said that the Bronson Reed name remains owned by WWE. WWE probably doesn't want to pay royalties to talent that don't work for them anymore, especially since Nick Khan is obsessed about cutting the budget of the company. After the disastrous launch of WWE 2K20, fans have waited a long time for a new mainline WWE video game, but the company will now need to decide which released talent, if any, make it to the game. On Boxing Day 2020, Brodie Lee sadly died just days after his 41st birthday. This week marked what would have been Lee's 42nd birthday, and as expected, AEW paid tribute to him, but so did WWE. In a tweet from the official WWE account, the company paid tribute to the man once known as Luke Harper, sharing a few photos of the former Intercontinental Champion. After requesting his release from WWE in late 2019, Brodie Lee made an impact in AEW as the second-ever TNT champion, and this week's tribute from WWE was a truly classy act to remember someone who was taken far too soon. At Survivor Series 2021, OMOS won the 25 Superstar Battle Royal, the latest big win for the Colossal Wrestler. This win comes months after his main roster debut match, winning the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, and fans are waiting to see what he can do on his own. That won't happen just yet, though, as according to reports, WWE's writing team has constructed several storylines for Omos's singles debut, but the feeling amongst WWE higher-ups is that he's still not ready. Kevin Dunn is said to be unimpressed with both his in-ring work and mic skills, but Vince McMahon's love for big men has allowed OMOS more time to improve, a chance that smaller superstars wouldn't receive. Storylines have been written for Omos's singles push since September, but they are constantly being postponed by Dunn. This delay isn't just affecting OMOS, as the report notes that WWE's hesitancy to push OMOS as a single star has affected AJ Styles, who's been forced to take a back seat so more attention can be given to his partner. Things aren't good between OMOS, Styles, and Dunn to say the least, and it's reported that the storylines once written for the former Raw Tag Team Champion are now being recycled for Veer Mahaan. Before WrestleMania 37, OMOS had only a handful of professional wrestling matches, but clearly impressed WWE's decision-makers enough to give him an opportunity. But the shine is quickly fading on the man The Undertaker considers to be this generation's Andre the Giant. When NXT relaunched as NXT 2.0 in September, fans were introduced to a ton of new superstars, but few have impressed more than Braun Breaker. Breaker has already challenged for the NXT Championship, and despite being unsuccessful, many consider the second-generation wrestler a future NXT champion. That won't be the case if Ric Flair gets his way, as on his podcast, the two-time WWE Hall of Famer said Breaker's days in NXT are already numbered. He looks great. I hope they bring him up soon. I've only seen him twice on TV. I guess he has only had 20 matches, but he's definitely an impressive-looking talent. Even the cynical Jim Cornette has been impressed by Breaker, saying there's no way WWE can mess him up. Breaker already has his eyes on the main roster, as he recently spoke about working a program with SmackDown's Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and that dream match could happen far sooner than anyone had expected. AEW news now is Hangman Adam Page is the latest world champion, but one of his biggest feuds in the company isn't with anyone in the ring. Over the past couple of years, fans have noticed some interesting graphics during Paige's entrance, with one graphic saying Paige has been drinking, with a more recent announcing Paige's hatred for Game of Thrones. Speaking on oral sessions, Paige refuted the idea that he comes up with the lines himself and has said that there's someone in AEW's graphics department messing with him. Paige added that he's planted spies on the production truck to catch out this rogue graphics designer, but admitted he's not sure if the truck he's spying on is the one where the graphics are made. Paige defended his AEW World title this week against Bryan Danielson in an instant classic, and though we want a rematch after their hour-long time limit draw, the former WWE champion isn't the only adversary on the champ's radar. In 2019, Viktor of the Ascension was cut from WWE after a lengthy run with the company. A former NXT Tag Team Champion, Viktor now goes by Vic, and we've seen plenty of his friends released since then, including Breezango. Speaking to the two-man Power Trip of Wrestling podcast, Vic discussed the release of Tyler Breeze and Fandango, who were both let go in June, and why it came as such a surprise to him. They had a thing on the WWE Network probably like 2 weeks before where they were going through all the greatest WWE tag teams of all time, and I'd watched a little bit of it. And I laughed and said to myself, these guys are made for life. And then 2 weeks later, they got released. I thought, what the hell? I don't know what this company is thinking anymore. Vic's departure in 2019 came 8 years after John Laurinaitis signed him to a developmental contract, which the former WWE superstar recalled, saying, "The Johnny Ace that I first met when I was trying to get hired was not the same guy I knew as a producer once I was hired. And it was just very strange, and I was even telling Connor, I can't figure it out, because it was like two different people. And it wasn't like the first one that I met was like a dick or something like that. He just seemed very full of himself at the time. One of his favorite lines when we were extras in the back was like, 'Hey, you kids probably don't even know who I am. I was only ever over in Japan, it wasn't really over there. How did I ever get to be Vince's right-hand man? Doesn't make sense, but here I am.' I heard him say that almost every time I was an extra. I was like, okay, whatever, Johnny." John Laurinaitis may not have seen himself as impressive, but he was impressive enough to get the role of head of talent relations back earlier this year, and his breathy voice is the last thing countless superstars have heard this year before being wished the best in their future endeavors. In November, Zoe Stark was attacked by Toxic Attraction, a segment that wrote her off TV due to a very real injury. It was later reported that Stark had suffered a torn ACL, which required surgery, but she's now doing much better. On Wednesday, the NXT 2.0 superstar provided an update via social media saying she's no longer using crutches and can walk on her own. Stark also went on to thank her physical therapist, Lauren, who's been an invaluable asset in her recovery. Stark's most recent in-ring appearance was at Halloween Havoc, where she competed in the Scareway to Hell ladder match, and though there's still no word on when she'll wrestle again, Stark is making tremendous progress with her recovery. Now, WWE is always on the hunt for great partnership deals to expand their brand, and now the company has teamed up with the Swag Golf Company in a new licensing deal. Swag Golf creates what they call over-engineered precision-milled putters and unparalleled head covers for use by those on the golf course. It's now been announced that 3 officially licensed golf clubs and putter covers will be designed, with the first being a custom cover for WWE Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase. It's also been promised that the 2 other designs will be announced at some point today, as we'll just have to see who joins the $1 Million Man as being immortalized as a golf club. And we're ending today with Matt Cardona, who was unceremoniously released from WWE last year after over a decade of service, but still remains loyal in his own way to Vince McMahon. Feuding with Effie as of late, the popular indie star recently claimed that Vince McMahon never pays for flights in WWE, which sparked the anger of Cardona, who quickly defended his former employer. In his response, Cardona branded Effie as delusional and ignorant and wrong, adding that it makes him want to laugh out loud. Despite being released, Cardona has often brought up the WWE chairman lately, even comparing himself and GCW owner Brett Lauderdale to Hulk Hogan in the 1980s. Earlier this year, Cardona even donned an attire very similar to McMahon's 2007 run as ECW champion, as despite being released, the Long Island Ice Z continues to earn a reaction wherever he goes. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.